Good evening. Welcome to another episode of OmenG's Stupid Scary Stories. Tonight I won't be reading from any books. I'll be winging this one from the top of my head like I do when I'm not reading from books. So I really don't have any idea yet what I'm going to talk about. I was thinking something earlier when I was playing video games with my sons. We were playing this game called For the King, which is it's actually a pretty cool game. I don't know if anybody's heard of it. You know, you have like these little characters and shit. It's sort of like Dungeons and Dragons, but on the computer. And there's like little quests and things that you go on and shit like that. It was fun. It was lots of fun. Until things weren't so fun, we're sitting there and we pick our characters, right? In the very beginning, like, you can choose these different classes and shit, and they allow you to play up to 3 people at once from the console at home. So we figure, hey, why not? We're usually all playing something different. This will be some time to bond as father and sons over video games that we can play together, right? So we sit down, we're playing, and like this quest comes up, right? You know what I'm saying? And in the quest, you have to go down into the catacombs and like search this dungeon, kill beasts and things. So my youngest son like starts the quest off before we're all ready to start the quest. My hit points weren't where they were supposed to be. And, we were kind of mad about it. While this is all going on and we're kind of like arguing with each other about, we weren't ready, like, this dark storm cloud forms over the house. I only noticed it because it was nice and kind of like bright because we had just got back in the house. It was like, 4:30, so the sun was still out. But it got dark real fast. So I looked up and I see this, dark, ominous cloud. I'm like, whatever. Weather changes here awfully fast. 1 minute it could be fucking raining, the next minute it could be bright sun, the next minute it could be a fucking blizzard. I've never had, the experiences with weather like I have here, since I've been here. Anyway, back to the story. So this lightning bolt shoots right through the big giant window, hits the TV, smash, big flash of light. The next thing I know, we all come to, and we're in this like fucking dungeon. 3 of us looking at each other like, what the fuck is going on? We look out at the, where the window is supposed to be, and we realize something. We're in the fucking game. And our characters are sitting on the couch with the remote in their hands, playing us like we're video game characters and shit. I'm like, this isn't good. This isn't good at all. I don't like that. No, kids, this isn't gonna work. We need to get out of here and fast. However we got in here, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the lightning strike and shit, since that's what happened. And, perhaps, maybe, we can survive this. But we have to work together. No more of that bickering nonsense and going off and doing shit on your own. Now, before I even got those words out of my fucking mouth, my youngest son is off exploring the dungeon on his own. Like we just told him not to do. Well, like I just told him not to do. His older brother is like, Miles, what are you doing? Get back over here. Goddamn slime monster around the corner. Don't you see it? What's wrong with you? As soon as he said that, the fucking slime monster comes out sloshing around. You know what I'm saying? We don't understand what the fuck he's talking about and shit, right? Of course not. We don't speak slime. So it's still sitting here, coughs up like this big ball of what looks like phlegm. Oh, well, Jesus, Christ. How do you sit stuck in my mouth for like fucking... Like, huh? What? Miles, get over here. Stop fucking with the slime monster thing. Listen, slime monster, is that your name? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, listen. We mean you no harm, right? I know we've got swords and axes and shit like that, but some crazy shit just happened. We had no fucking idea how we got here. Well, we don't have any idea. And we'd like to know if you know how we could possibly get back out there in the real world, because from what we understand, this is a video game that we were just playing. And I've already seen what your kind does. You know, you jump on people and your acid slime melts boots. I'm not wearing any boots, so that means you'll melt my feet off. And I'm not trying to have my feet melted off right now. And then I look down, I notice that I'm wearing like armor and shit, like the characters in the fucking video game. So I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I guess I do have boots. But I still don't want you to melt them. You know what I'm saying? Now, my son, of course, Mr. Inquisitive Man, he is. The youngest one, of course. Fucking innocent child. He just loves stuff and things. Starts asking the slime a whole bunch of questions. Like, just runs up on him. Like, no, Miles, no, don't, no. And I'm thinking the slime is about to, like, just jump on him and dissolve him and shit. And what I see is that my son is asking so many questions, sort of like he did to Jermaine the Snowman, that the slime can't answer him. Now, let me explain something real quick to you about my youngest son. He's curious. He's extremely curious. He asks questions as if he's been waiting to ask these questions for days. You know, like if someone is starved of food for a long time, they'll get in front of food and they'll just eat everything and start shoveling it in their fucking face. Well, that's how my son is when it comes to asking questions. It's not just one question. It's not two questions. It's not three questions either. Not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. No. No. If he's truly honestly curious about some shit, it's like a Gatling gun of questions. Just cranking them out there. Vulcan cannon. Firing question after question. Now, I'm kind of happy about this because I know when he asks me questions like that, what it does to me. So I can only imagine what it does to something with lesser intelligence, right? Like a piece of slime. The slime just melted. Just melted away. And I'm looking at my son like, good job. He's like, what do you mean good job? I had questions that I needed answered. He didn't answer one question. I was like, you asked him like 700 questions in a matter of 2 minutes. How is he supposed to answer them? Do you understand what that fucking feels like, man? Shit. It's like when I'm trying to answer your questions, and before I even get 2 words out of my mouth, you have another question ready to go. And then I can't answer the first question because the second question has been asked, and now I'm trying to answer the second question. I still haven't answered the first question, and my brain does some weird shit where it's just like a fucking pileup on a highway of questions I want to answer, questions I'm trying to answer, and then more questions that are being asked. It's like this queue, and it gets clogged, and your fucking brain, if you were a lesser life form, would explode! Oh! I felt for the slime, but I was happy that he did it. I'm like, you know what? Just keep doing that. Just keep doing that. He's like, doing what? Just ask questions. You know, he's like, I am gonna ask questions because I'm fucking curious. Oh, sorry, Dad, I didn't mean to swear like that. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. We're trapped in a weird land of slime monsters and stuff. Let's be careful where we go. You know, mud holes and puddles and shit. I remember when we were playing, we got caught by a kraken. And then we got caught by a fucking cave mole dug up from under us. Started, you know, saying all types of crazy mole shit that we didn't understand because we didn't speak mole. You know, unfortunately, we didn't buy the upgrade, so we didn't have that feature available to us, right? So we only could speak English and maybe elf, although we didn't run into any elves. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe my son will question this thing to death like he did, you know, the other thing. But he didn't really want to ask any questions of the fucking mole. I'm like, don't you have any questions? Don't you want to ask it like... He's like, it's just a mole. I'm like, yeah, but it's a mole in a video game. He's like, yeah, but it's just a mole. I already know everything about moles. I can look that up on Google. I'm like, you can look up most things that you ask me on fucking Google, but you don't do it. What do I look like? A fucking search engine and shit? I'm sorry. I'm just a little upset because we're stuck in this fucking video game, Miles. Now, my oldest son, my older son, the oldest one that lives here, he's not really happy about this whole thing because me and the youngest one are kind of like going back and forth about him questioning shit. And my older son wants to get back to playing the game, not being in the game. You understand what I'm saying? He's not enjoying himself at all. His phone doesn't work because there's no fucking Wi-Fi in this game. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, look, I don't know what's going on with you, Sue, but on some real stuff, we need to, like, get the hell out of here. I've played this game before several times. We're gonna do it like this. You do this. You, Miles, please, do it this way, alright? Every single time I play with you, you always want to go do some other stuff, and then we get killed, like with the Kraken in the fucking boat, alright? Going to the left of this cave, I can see light at the end of the tunnel. Get out of here. Try to get the fuck out of this place. So, you know, we decided to listen to Jaden because, you know, he's a gamer. You know, he plays lots of fucking games. He's pretty good at them. So we're like, fuck it, we'll follow him, right? You know, he's got his little bow and arrow and shit. Some little, like, rat thing. Kind of looked like Pendleton, but it wasn't Pendleton because this is a video game. Remember that? You know what I'm saying? Jumps up. He hits it with a bow. He's like, alright, now, Dad, smack him with the flame torch swing thing. I got confused and I bashed it, but I missed. He got mad. He's like, what the hell, Dad? Come on. I said, the flame swing. You're messing shit up. God damn it, Dad. Hey, calm down. Maybe Miles can, like, ask it a whole bunch of fucking questions and use his question Gatling gun on it. I already know about mice, Dad. There's nothing I want to know about mice. They're fucking mice. Shit. Like, what else do I need to ask? I'm not gonna ask him why he's here. You asked the slime a million fucking questions. Jeez, just ask questions. But I'm not curious about it, Dad. And he gets all sad and shit. I'm like, alright, fine. So we have to fight the mouse. We kill the mouse. The mouse is dead, right? So we keep heading towards this light. My son sees some kind of stone structure thing. I think it's called a sanctum. Runs up on it, like smacks it with his fist. Gets some like special glowing power of, like, I think it was regenerate health or some shit like that. I'm not 100% sure. He was just glowing for a little while. It was pretty cool. Anyway, I'm like, listen, boys, I really want to get back to reality because I'm assuming if we die in this video game, like when we die playing the video game, that it's over. I don't want to keep starting over and over again and everything keeps changing around and shit and we end up stuck here. So we got to figure out how to get back, right? So let's think about the situation and the circumstances that got us here. We were playing, control in our hand, couch, TV in front of us, lightning bolt through the window, hit the TV, smash. Here we are. All right, right? Let's figure this out. So, you know, we figure maybe we find like a mage, or maybe find like a mage or a magician or some kind of magic wielding creature that shoots lightning bolts. Maybe we can get it to shoot a lightning bolt in front of something at us. So of course now we're on a quest to find a mage and shit. Run into some like undead soldiers in this little graveyard place. You know, my son starts asking them 1,000,001 questions, and so we didn't really have to fight them because, you know, they just turned to bones of dust. I asked him, what did you ask them? He says, well, I was wondering how in the world they keep walking around if they don't have any muscles. And then when I asked them how come they didn't have any muscles, I asked them why they lost their muscles. And then I asked them how they died in the first place. And then I asked them why they died. And he couldn't answer any of my questions. I said, yeah, of course not. They never can because you ask too many fucking questions. Like, you ask too many questions. You're supposed to give people a chance to, like, why don't you write them all down? Just give somebody a piece of paper with all your questions and then they can fill it out like a fucking test and answer all your damn questions and then hand it back to you. And you'll have all your answers in a time. No, but I want to know what I want to know when I want to know it, not when you want me to know it. I want to know it now. I'm like, okay, that's, you know, a lot of now, and you know what, fuck this, let's just go. So we cross through the cemetery, right, and we get to this bridge, and on this bridge is a troll. So my, you know, 15-year-old, he grabs his bow. He says, now listen. I'm like, oh shit, here goes Mr. Tactician. and tell us how to fucking play the game and shit. Fuck it. What, Jaden? What are we doing? I'm gonna shoot him with my spell arrow that makes him lose a turn, right? Then you're gonna bash him with your little disarm thing, so he loses another turn. And then Miles is gonna hit him with that big swing with the hammer thing, take some damage off of him. He won't have a turn, which means I'll go again, and then you'll go again. And I'm gonna hit him again and make him lose another turn, and then you hit him with the slash, take some power, and then Miles will hit him with the slash and take some power, and then I'll hit him with a real bow attack. And while he's doing all this talking and telling us what we're supposed to do, this thing just comes over there and smacks me right in my fucking face. Bow! I fall over and shit. I'm like, Jay, this shit is not fucking turn-based, man. We're living this shit. You don't see us like turn shit. No! Just attack the goddamn thing. Fuck the spells. Let's do this. Jump it! So we all jump on it. We're beating it up and shit, kicking it around, smacking it with sticks and stones and swords and all this other gamey shit that we have, right? Toss it over the bridge into the water and we go. Right? It's craziness, people. I'm not joking around. This was fucking some real, weird shit. I mean, how often are you ever playing a video game and become part of the video game? I mean, it's one thing to get immersed in the experience of a game, but to actually be in the game is not as fun as one would think. It's not like virtual reality and shit, although it is kind of like virtual reality and shit, but reality in a virtual world. If that makes any sense. Does that make any sense? It makes a little bit of sense. So, we make it to this castle, right? And at the door, it says, come in. So we go in, right? You know, and we hear like water boiling, and potions bubbling, somebody fumbling around with glasses and flasks and shit. We walk into the small room that's off to the side of the main entrance. And inside, we see what looks to be like a chemist of sorts, as he's mixing up chemicals and things. It smells really good too, like strawberries. Anyway, right? He looks over at us. He's got glasses on, a funny little wizard hat and shit. And he's like, "Hey, how'd you guys get in here?" The door said come in, so we came in. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot to take that sign down. I need to change that because people keep wandering in here all the goddamn time, and I'm getting sick and tired of people wandering in here. But if I change the sign, maybe they won't wander in here. I'm like, oh god, this guy talks a fucking lot. Jesus Christ. So I'm thinking to myself, this might be the guy. This might be the guy that can help us, right? So I take Jaden to the side, and I'm talking to him about our plans, which is somehow to coerce this dude into helping us, perhaps. Or if he doesn't want to help us by choice, we'll beat him down and make him help us, because obviously he's one of these smart characters that does, you know, wizardry and magic and shit. So maybe he can figure out a way to send us back without this lightning bolt thing, right? That's what we're thinking. But before we have a chance to even talk to this guy about this, I hear this loud explosion. The sound of splattering shit hitting walls. I'm like, oh god, no, please tell me no. We turn around, and just as we turn, we get to watch the headless body of the magician or whatever the fuck he was fall slowly to the ground. Looking at my son, who's covered in fucking blood and brains and shit. I'm like, you just had fucking ask 1,000,001 questions, didn't you? He's like, no, I didn't ask 1,000,001 questions. I only asked like 500 questions. 1,000,001 is just a fucking figure of speech. I know you didn't ask him 1,000,001 questions, but you asked him a whole bunch of questions. Why don't you become a police officer? You can interrogate people. I'm sure they'll be like, God, I'll tell you anything you want to know. Just make him stop. Please. He's asking too many questions. I can't answer the questions. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Send him over to the fucking terrorist shit. Bet you $1 million the Taliban will tell us where every fucking cave is in the goddamn world. They'll be giving up information left and right. I'm telling you, you don't... Let me have him come to your house for like, 10 minutes or so. 10 minutes. If you can even take 10 minutes of being questioned. And I mean questioned. I'm talking about rapid fucking fire questions. And it's not like little kids, you understand what I'm saying? Like little babies who are like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, and you can like kind of shoo them away, like go play with this toy and do that. No. He's 11, and when he wants to know something, he wants to know it. And he obviously wanted to know something from this fucking magician. So I asked him. I was like, what was so important, Miles, that you had to question him to death? Why? Just tell me, because he probably would have been our only chance to get out of here. Well, first I asked him why he had a sign on the door that said come in. And then I asked him why he didn't change the sign that said come in. And then I asked him why he built his castle. And then I asked him how did he build the castle. I asked him if he used magic to build the castle. And then I asked him what he was doing. Why was he doing it? How many flasks does he have? What's in the flask? Why did he put what's in the flask in the flask? Why is what's in the flask in the flask in the first place? And what flasks are they going into after the flasks they're in now? I'm like, okay. Shh. Stop. We're not the enemy. Save that shit for them, please. God damn. Needless to say, we were at an impasse. Here we were in this castle, which obviously had some magical shit in it, but now we didn't have the person who could do the magic to help us. So once again, we headed out on our quest for maybe another magician. Now at this point in time, I decided to gag my son. I know you guys are probably saying that's pretty fucking mean. Why would you do that to him? He's just a nice little kid, just curious, trying to learn shit. He's inquisitive. Yeah, that's right. He's inquisitive and he wants to learn shit and he doesn't know when to stop. Don't get mad at me. I want to live. I want to get out of this fucking video game, right? So we gagged him. We did what we had to do. He wasn't too happy about it. He didn't want to participate anymore. He was kind of like, fuck you guys. If I can't talk and ask questions, I'm not really going to help. I'm like, you do realize if you don't help, right, you're going to die in this fucking game world, and your mom will be fucking mad as shit. I'll never hear the last of it. And besides, I love you, man. I don't want you to like die in a game world and shit. All right, fine. So, I felt bad about gagging him, and then I realized that he wasn't gonna fucking participate if I didn't ungag him. So I ungagged him and just prayed that his curious mind would rest for like the rest of this quest, which I knew was going to be a stretch of the imagination. One could not fathom would even exist to happen in this world that we live in now. But I hoped with all types of optimism that it would come to pass, that we would make it out of here without him questioning to death everything that we came across. Come to find out, right, that mage, magician, chemist, whatever it was actually a mage, a magician, and a chemist, all at once. I found his little credential notebook that told of spells and things, and then he had some spell that had like a teleport, scroll map in it. I was like, we need to find this scroll, and here's the map. Let's go. And you, please, Miles, I'm begging you, with the questions, keep them to a minimum. So like 100 questions? No, not 100 questions. Not 10 questions. Like 2 questions. Just 2 questions. 1, 2, let's move on. It's like, alright, fine. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, Dad. 2 questions is not a lot of questions. No, it's plenty of questions. You get 1 answer, you get another answer, you've got 2 answers. That's better than no answers at all, right? Okay, now you're not getting any answers from these people when you ask a million fucking questions, are you? No, their heads are exploding. Or they melt. Or turn to dust. So stop it. 2 questions, and that's it. Do we agree? Fine. Good. So on our quest, we began to go again as we walked down to this road that led into a wooded area that was dark like a forest. Into it we went. Scared at first, we were. But we realized something. This game isn't too crazy. I mean, it's pretty crazy for the king if you've ever played it. But it's not like super crazy. So the monsters don't look like hideously gross and crazy and scary as fuck. They kind of look like well-refined Roblox or Minecraft characters. If you've ever played the game, you know what I'm talking about. They're scary in the game, but not in real life. Anyway, so we're going through this forest area, and we notice there's a light shining like a lantern towards the end of it. So we figure we'll follow this light, right? Following this light, we're moving along, and everything seems to be going well. Nothing's jumping out of the bushes or trees. There's no noises that sound scary. No ambushes. Nothing crazy happens. We get to the light. We look at the light. We see what it is. It's a television set. Yes, happiness and joy hits our minds. Then, something strange happens. I get water splashed in my face. Right in my face. I come to, and I'm laying on the floor in our living room in front of the TV. I asked my sons, what the fuck happened? He said, I don't know, Dad. Like, there was a lightning bolt, hit you in the back of the head. You, like, flew forward, smacked your face on the glass table, and were laid out on the floor for, like, I don't know. It seemed like half an hour, maybe 45 minutes or so. I was like, you guys just sat here and let me lay on the fucking floor? Well, we weren't dead. We were trying to beat this fucking level. You guys are the worst. Well, Miles did ask you a whole bunch of questions while you were there. I was like, are you serious? What kind of questions do you ask an unconscious person? Well, he kind of asked you first what happened. Then he asked you why you weren't answering them. Then he asked you why you jumped off the couch. Then he asked you how you hit your head. He just kept asking you questions. I was like, you know, funny thing is, like, I went into the game in my brain and he asked questions of a whole bunch of stuff and, like, killed it. It was ridiculous. You should have fucking been there, but you guys were here and didn't even wake me up. Who splashed me in the fucking face with water? Oh, Mom came down, saw you laying on the floor, thought that you might have passed out from the lightning bolt, and we told her that's what happened, and so she splashed water on your face. It's like, you guys couldn't have did that? Yeah, but you know, you're alright though, right? Like, yeah, I'm fine, thank you very much, except for the fact that I have this splitting headache and my shirt's wet now. I'm not too happy about that. You guys are terrible sons. Could have saved me instead of just playing video games. You didn't even call 911, did you? Like, what if I was, like, dead? Or, like, well, you weren't dead. You were breathing and your heart was beating and stuff, so we knew you weren't dead. It's like, yeah, but what if I had, like, brain damage? Oh, well, you know, that's just, you know, things. What are we supposed to do about that, Dad? If you had brain damage, you had brain damage. We can't help you. And then my son gets ready to start asking me a whole bunch of questions about things that happened in the game. And I got up really fast, and I went outside and sat on the front porch. And then he came outside and tried to ask me questions out there. And I was like, listen, don't do this. Not right now. You can't do this right now. I've seen the wrath of your machine gun question asking. You killed, like, 8 things in the world. You melted slime, you killed some mage who was supposed to be helping us, and you questioned him until his brain exploded, and he was a magician. He had no spell to stop it. None. And then I gagged you, and you weren't happy about that, so I had to ungag you and make you only ask 2 questions. But before we even had any chance to make you ask any more questions and shit, like, the water splashed me in the face, and here I am. Are we gonna play some more of that game later? That would be fun. Well, folks, moral of today's story, if there is such a thing as a moral in a story, such as stupid as this one, is that if you have an inquisitive child who's curious and asks a lot of questions, well, just be prepared. Just be prepared. Have some Advil ready, notebook, voice recorder of some sort, so you can record most of the questions. You're not going to be able to answer them all when they ask them, trust me. If there's inquisitive and curious as my son is, it's just not going to happen. I'm telling you, he will question you to death. Question you to death. To death, he'll question you. I want to thank everybody for joining me for another episode of Stupid Scary Stories. If you enjoy the stories that I tell or have any suggestions or ideas for stories that you would like for me to tell, well, you can send them to my email at noorderwithoutchaos@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment in the comment section down below. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. If you liked the video, give it a like. And if you want to be notified for when I do drop these stupid and scary stories, well, go ahead and hit the notification button. And remember, if you just want to see the stories, the playlist is OmenG's Stupid Scary Stories. And that way you'll find nothing but stupid scary stories. None of the other stuff that's on the channel, which can be a lot of stuff that's on the channel, like music, me ranting and raving back when I was having my mental breakdowns and shit, talks about being bipolar, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to say, have a great night. It's Thursday, tomorrow is Friday, so I have plans to tell you more stories tomorrow. Maybe 2. I'm thinking of a double feature Friday. Or a live premiere. I'm not quite sure. We'll find out. We'll see what the day brings. When it brings what it does bring. The day. When it brings it. Until tomorrow, folks. Have a good night.